Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Hand of Fate 2. So we only got silver on the High Priestess, but I don't think it would be interesting to do High Priestess a second time, so we're gonna just skip to Empress and hope we get a blessing card eventually to add to the deck so we can make sure we have 6 blessings by the time we get to the end of the High Priestess. There is a plot line obviously being told, and it feels like each one of these missions is chronological in that plot line. But we saw the story for this.
This game is merely the lesser game. It is not the true game of life and death, merely my model of it. I must prepare you for the challenges you will face when we meet Callus in truth.
I have no idea who Callus is. So for the Empress, we're to earn fame in order to wield a legendary weapon, Haritha's Ire. Villages on the north outskirts are under assault from the northern raiders. Defend the mighty shaman who is leading their raids. Defeat the mighty shaman who's leading their raids. So that's going to be a mighty hero, gain enough fame to wield the mighty Haritha's Ire, and then the raids encounters with northerners are common in these parts. It seems like with each mention, each mission, we are required to have more and more cards. In this case, if we defeat this mission, we could potentially have different companions, which might change things quite a bit because the Trickster as a companion doesn't really have much going for him. You can respin any wheel gambit. I've never even seen a wheel gambit. He has ranged magic when he attacks, which isn't that helpful, and the magic shield is somewhat helpful. So as far as supplies go, we could either start with extra food, which I don't think we would need. We know northerners are pretty good as far as fighting with swords. So, Knight's Sword, one-handed, or damage area versus critical strike. Guess we'll go with Knight's Sword. And that's the only one supply we can take. Then it's going to come down to taking things that still have coins on them, and taking things that are new. Let's see. This will gain plus 10 max life when you have more blessings than one. This shield lets you eat less. I honestly don't think I have much of a choice on these. I need 2 more things, so taking a bunch of shields probably is the right move, because they probably would never actually offer just 3 shields at a shop and nothing else. And then we have no idea what these encounters that we haven't done do, so anything that's new is probably correct. At least to start with. I think I probably would want to lay off the cards that we've already know what we need to do here. Like arm wrestling is a dice gamble, so there's let's just see. I guess we'll take that one. We'll take that one, we'll take that one, and we'll take that one. I think that's a good start. A lot of these, though, obviously are just not worth playing. But Temple Prayers in the previous mission would have made sense to play. Eventually, we are just going to have an event, I think, that is going to allow for an infinite number of encounter cards.
In this case, the Empress is a symbol, a leader of the northern clans, but not their only one.
So there is a gold and silver
now we come
coin
to
you
one
can
of
get.
the new nuances of our game. The hunt for fame and esteem would not work for all players, but it works for you. I can sense it in you. Your pride, your skill. In time, we will learn all of you.
Yeah, it feels weird to start a mission and then spend 5 minutes just deciding what cards are going to be in your deck. Although inherently, even though that is just what a trading card game player or a deck builder game really should have, is have that deck building sequence and time you spend. It's just not something I ever really like to engage with. Even though I do play Yu-Gi-Oh! When I live stream, I spend almost no energy on a monthly basis building new decks. I just play the same deck over and over again and don't want to think about new cards or moving things around. The decks you're building for this kind of game compared to a trading card game is very different. Alright, raiders have destroyed our village. The Elder of Talos explains in a hushed voice they were sent by a dark shaman in the north.
I've waited 100 years for my revenge.
They were searching for
appears I
this.
must
He
wait
draws a
100
large
more.
warhammer from his cloak. Hethra's ire. It is the only weapon that will break the seal protecting their encampment. He hands you the weapon. So we're just starting with the
Anger
weapon.
is a powerful force.
It has a shockwave ability and an armor breaker ability, and a bash deals additional damage to armor and enemies while they block. It is susceptible to evade and it cannot reposit. It does 26 damage, but it requires 20 fame, which is a lot. So it almost seems like in the last mission we were gaining fame just to introduce the idea of fame for this mission. This weapon is heavier than you imagine, perhaps weighed down by some hidden magic preventing you from wielding it to its potential. You require 20 fame to equip this weapon. Earn fame by completing encounters, which would mean we'd have to complete at least 10 encounters if we're getting 2 fame on average per encounter. The other looks straight in the eyes as though peering into your soul. Not all weapons are for all men. Only those who have demonstrated great acts of valor and courage may bear Hethra's ire. You do well to remember that. Let's ask some questions. What would you like to know? Make it quick. You must find the courage to wield this weapon and defeat the shaman before the 5th village falls. The villages need a hero. The town of Brendan is surely in danger and must be warned. Interesting. So that reveals the King's Road. Let's see. Great artifacts require great heroes. He explains, never turn down the opportunity to aid others. Seek out greatness and you will be rewarded. A twisted creature with great power, never seen on the battlefield, but I hear she commands her warriors from her camp in the forest to the east. We sent our warriors to find her, but our magical barrier prevents anyone from entering her sanctum. It is said that Hethra's ire can break through such a barrier. If she were attacked at our camp, these raids could surely be stopped for good. Ask about the Empire. The Elder Scrolls Empire, what good is the Empire? Naught but tax collectors and Karen crows. 6 raids here this year, and not a soldier to be seen. So much for protection. They're less reliable than the worst of the gods. There we go. Thank you, I trust the sacrifice of Talos will not go in vain. He bows his head, may the gods bring you good fortune. So a lot of setup once again at the beginning of this mission. And it's raining outside of this room / cart that you're in. It seems like the idea is that you're in a cart that is just constantly moving, but it may not always be moving. Well, no, it does kind of look like it is just constantly moving, taking you somewhere while you play this game. It would be a very large cart, though, compared to the size of the people, of the narrator.
When the hero runs in, the villain takes their time to bait their trap. Be careful, lest they put you in your place.
So we immediately get ambushed. Rustling behind you is all the warning you get that your life is in danger. You turn as the cords of the northern bolo wrap around your body. So we've been ambushed, which means we can't change our equipment. Party of northern charges you as you break free. I'd like to be able to check my equipment and know what I'm supposed to be doing to activate this special ability. When he accused the mayor of being a shadow beast in disguise, they thought him mad, is all the Knight's Sword says.
I'll have you know my friend here is killed far better than you.
Being bow-led quite a bit. And I probably need to dodge instead of trying to press. Let's go with this. I have not taken a single hit here. All I've done is gotten hit by bolas a bunch, and there my companion did his fire magic to defeat the last guy. And that gets 2 fame, so I assume you would lose fame if you search for spoils. You gain fortune, and we screwed up. As you search for valor, revolts one of the northerners, grab you with his last breath. He runs a blade into your side. So we lost 3 gold. Interesting, you lose gold when you get stabbed. You have very little food. Let's see. Can't afford anything else, and can't afford any of this. It seems like we would run into general stores pretty often. And yeah, supposed to reposit attacks. No, this says specifically reposit 40 shadows. We're not even going to be fighting shadows, so we shouldn't have even picked this weapon. But it doesn't make any sense to sell it at the moment, since it is our only weapon. So that store wasn't super helpful.
Time passes and things change. The advances of the Empire march on, and mystery and magic falls further into darkness. Yet death stalks the streets of the city.
It definitely feels like if you made a 3rd game that was 100 years in the future again, it would be a almost modern time where there would be almost no magic and monsters in the world. A pale of smog casts the city in a dull gray light as you navigate the narrow streets and back alleys of Iron Peak. Beware the Prince of Poisons, calls a young boy in a short-brimmed cap as he hands you out leaflets to the passing crowds. You stop to read the discarded parchment sodden by the damp that clings to the cobblestones. Prince of Poison strikes again. Another mass poisoning in the back streets of Lowtown. Mayor raises reward to 500 gold. If I could actually win 500 gold, that would be a massive amount of gold. The boy approaches as you finish reading. If you really hope to be safe, you best protect yourself. I have just the thing, and at a bargain price. Let's just ask all the question. Who's the Prince of Poisons? He's the one responsible for all the killing that's going on, the child exclaims, wide-eyed. Dozens, if not hundreds of innocent people dead, all poisoned by the prince. He strikes at random anywhere in the city and at any time just drops one of his canisters and half the streets dead before anyone knows what's happening. Ask about the disheveled children in the alleyway. The boy looks over to where you're pointing. Most of them lost their parents to poison and live on the streets now. Offer the child food. We really don't have enough food to offer. The boy shakes his head in pity, saying, came for a good home, some of them. They won't last on the streets. Don't even know what street corners are best to beg at. Let's offer food anyways. Children dressed in clothes once embalmed with silver buttons and lace, but now torn and coated with soot, swarm around as you approach with food in your hand. We can only give one food. A dozen filthy hands tear the offered morsel to shreds as the children scramble for what little they can get. It did give us one fame. One girl approaches you and offers her thanks. She stands staring at you as you turn to leave the alleyway. Suddenly an armed man sprints into the alley, knocking several children to the ground. He pauses to swear and glances back the way he came. A silver-haired lady, clearly dressed for combat, sporting an array of weapons, stands silhouetted at the end of the alley. Running is pointless, Mad-Eye, she says, matter-of-factly. Mad-Eye draws his weapons as the children scatter. I'm not going back to prison, he yells in defiance. We have an Ace of Greed anarchist. Either we're going to attack Mad-Eye, which I think is probably the right move, or join Mad-Eye and attack the woman, which I think is the wrong move for fame's sake, or stand back and observe, which is definitely the wrong move. So let's attack Mad-Eye. This one's mine, the woman tells you as you draw your weapon. More armed men suddenly rush into the alleyway. Mad-Eye, one of them calls. We won't let her take you. So, we have now this hunter card and what looks like some special shiny chains on the edge of that card. And now we have extra men we're going to have to fight. Which for fame, once again, is probably the right move. I wouldn't be surprised if this unlocks this as a potential companion. Let's see, you will find no charity here. When activated, Kathara fires her back holstered weapon and causes high damage to enemies in range. Stay close to charge her ability faster.
Nothing like the smell of gunpowder to get the blood.
You see, this is a different layout as far as being a tight, narrow alleyway.
Out of my way.
we somehow switched spots. Which probably highlights how a tight, narrow alleyway doesn't really work as a concept. It definitely felt like in the first game that the hack and slash fighting section was the beginning of a completely different game, and they got halfway through developing that game and decided to make a card game instead. It's almost a direct counter attempt of what Witcher 3 had, where Witcher 3 had Gwent as a card game inside a much bigger hack and slash RPG game. Here you have a much smaller game that has the card game as the main gameplay mechanic. The silver-haired woman immediately rushes forward to stand over Mad Eye, declaring, "I'm taking this lowlife in and getting the payment." As formidable as the old woman looks, you turn to search the other fallen men before leaving the alleyway. So we're gaining some equipment.
A useful tool, but simple magic.
So the extinguisher is fire, inflicts 40% less damage. Any number of rings can be equipped at one time. We do need 3 fame to use it. We got some food supplies. You leave the troubled town of Iron Peak with an impression that you've not yet seen all that it has to offer. So I didn't go the right direction with that story. Probably should have stuck with Mad Eye. And it's funny, we have distressed damsel here, and we know that we could get ambushed, but we need food. So the hope here is we can roll a 14. Keeping a 4 is a little dangerous. Well, that is impossible. Totally screwed that up. I selected the 4 to reroll when I should have meant to select the 1 and the 2 to reroll. But had I kept the 4 and then rolled a 3, I would have been at 7. I still would have lost. Why, thank you. Now, if you'd be so kind as to give me all of your gold, the woman dressed in a pair of concealed blades from her corset draws a pair of concealed blades from her corset. Come on out, boys. You have no time to react as a group of bandits come out from hiding, spring from hiding. The loading icon of a dragon eating its own tail is kind of interesting.
You have to stop helping people. It always ends up like this.
It does not, by any means, always end up like this. So that is a exaggeration. It's funny, but it's not true. So after doing a battle, you may lose life, but you may very well have just traded life for, say, food, which is what I really needed. With the thugs defeated, you search their bodies for valuables. And I guess that is an easier dice roll now of 9. You clearly are getting punished with the fights when you fail a dice roll. That did give us 4 fame, which that is what we're looking for. And 3 food plus another 3 food. That works out well.
Let us see what the next town holds.
Follow the Talos Eldro's instructions. You find yourself on the road to Braden. Thus falls as you continue your quest. So we're at 7 of 20 fame. It does feel...
Do not take lightly the mantle of fame. Being a figurehead is not without consequences.
So it does seem like we have a decent chance of getting 20 fame in this run, but no guarantee. We arrive at Braden in the dead of night to find it under attack from raiders. The village burns. As the village burns, 3 brave farmers attempt to Finn, the last of the surviving villagers, one calls out, "Please help. We must stop these savages before all is lost." You draw your weapon and rush to their aid. Now, as far as equipment goes, these other cards don't have any special ability, but this card isn't doing anything for its special ability, so if it was faster to, say, use the neglected sword or did more damage, it would make sense, but it's not the case. So there's nothing you can do with the inventory, and I feel like most of the time that is going to be the case, is that you really won't have any decisions that you can make with the inventory. It's going to mostly be a pointless system. Game
I hope this works.
definitely comes out as way too dark. I don't want to go fiddling with the brightness though. If the game had asked me to adjust the brightness at the beginning of the game, as we see with mini games, that probably would have been recommended. I question if, like, the villagering farmers on easy mode would ever take enough damage that they would die. Okay. So if we took this, defeat 30 northerners with a finisher to unlock that, that would be a good move. Or this would take 50 hits in combat to unlock this shard. I think you want to take this and equip that. Although the berserker would make more sense. The surviving villagers rush off to the farmer's aid and tend to the wounds. "Thank you, hero," they cry. "You have saved our people, but sadly our village is no more. Please accept a small token of gratitude. For saving all the peasants, you receive 4 fame." You also get enough food now where that's no longer a problem. It's not the time to celebrate. They're surely mustering to raid the town of Terran. They point further south down the river bend. If you are a true hero, you will surely save them. With another village lost to the northerners, you set out to the next town without delay. Although, I am totally going to delay.
Wealth through exploration. We have many lands to discover, you and I. If you cannot make use of this, I will question your skills.
So, a traveling cartographer in the process of making his first full map of the Empire wishes to pay you gold for information on the area you have seen in recent travels. I need not know every stream or stone that lies from here to the capital. I'm sure whatever knowledge you can provide will be of some worth. There are 2 revealed encounters on this map. Okay, so let's return later. Come back soon, he calls as you leave to pursue your quest. So, I should do every encounter and then come back, and I'll get more reward.
You strike me as the type who would put themselves in harm's way for the benefit of others. Yet, perhaps you'd rather have someone else sacrifice themselves for you.
Burning building. You hear shouting up ahead as you make your way down the cobbled streets. You see lights flickering on the road in front of you. This all feels very Dungeons and Dragons-esque, except for the fact that it is not really requiring a dungeon master to kind of script out a general narrative of how the story is going, and it doesn't require 3 to 5 monster manual type books that are full of rules and descriptions and lore. Although many people, I imagine, who are fans of Dungeons and Dragons would say that this game is probably nowhere as deep or varied, and it probably doesn't have as much of an open to interpretation experience that you can have, depending on how much of a stickler for rules and regulations are in Dungeons and Dragons. I've heard Dungeons and Dragons fans say that a good dungeon master knows when to ignore what the rules say and just make the game more entertaining for everybody playing. I would like to see if anybody would claim to ever be particularly uncreative and be a fan of Dungeons and Dragons. I imagine they're hanger-ons or third wheels, fourth wheels players that are there because their friends are playing and aren't that creative, but I would suspect that the true fans who would sing the praises of Dungeons and Dragons are all fairly creative people who want to think up creative new scenarios. As you approach, you see a building flames and smoke billowing out of the upper room windows. A crowd is formed outside, passing buckets of water between them one another to temper the blaze. As you push your way through the crowd, you see a woman frantically pleading to the villagers, "Please help, my family is in there. Anyone, please help." Let's see. Well, should we let Malclips attempt the rescue and lose out on fame, or should we brave the fire ourselves? I think we brave the fire ourselves. We also have the fire extinguisher.
The wheel is one of my favorite innovations. It combines many different elements of our game into one.
Okay, I'm not even sure what I'm trying to land on, but Malclips will let me re-roll this. Are we looking for the ones? One of toil? Like, it's not failure. It's not huge pain. I feel like one of toil is probably the right move. So let's confirm the B button. The fact that you don't even really know what you're going for is a problem there. They should have let me look at every option before it started spinning. Through the haze of smoke, you find the woman's youngest daughter crying under a bed. You coax her out and scoop her up and carry her out of the blaze. The villager rushes to you. "Thank you, brave adventurer. I can take it from here, but be warned, the building is not safe and it will soon collapse." The woman embraces the child and then turns once more. "My husband, did you see my husband? He's still in there. Please, please help." The dealer adds another life pain card to the wheel. So we have to keep on doing this until we save all of them. But we do know we are going for the one of toil, which means we kind of know where to stop. Let's re-roll there. Didn't work. You find the woman's son attempting to find his way through the smoke and flames. Grabbing his hand, you lead him back through the building to safety. Villager rushes to your aid. "Thank you, brave adventurer. I can take it from here, but be warned, the building is not safe. It will soon collapse." Okay. I don't have another re-roll, but we should probably do it anyways and just risk it. Let's see. "My husband, did you see my husband? He's still in there. Please help." So one of toil is what we're looking for. And it's spinning faster, it feels like. So we'll take the pain.
Oh dear. Move faster next time.
With the sun cracked, the beam above your head is giving way, injuring you and blocking your path. You retrace your steps back out of the building. Let's do it again. We got lucky there. I imagine failure was the only one that was really going to be a problem, but even failure may have been not that big of a deal. Slumped in the corner of a room, you find the woman's husband, you put your arm around her shoulder and quickly make your way out of the inferno. And see, for burning building, I probably will never want to play this scenario again. It just isn't probably worth it. As you emerge, the woman and her children rush to the man's side and embrace him. Thank you, adventurer. You've saved my family from certain death, the woman says.
Now the power is yours to use.
So we now have a much more powerful armor-breaking weapon. So I definitely would just equip it now, I guess. While our possessions have been destroyed and we will never be able to repay you, know that we will speak of your deeds from here for as long as we shall live. And that gave us 8 fame, so we overshot 20 fame. Now, our accomplice character...
you are worthy to wield the weapon of champions. The raiders will hide from you no longer.
Yep. Our compass, I think, is going to be stunned for 3 moves because we used his ability. Can we double check that? Nope. So you turn Worth's arrows in your hands, the rune on its face now emitting a golden light. It's unclear if it now weighs less or if you have newfound strength, but either way you can now wield the mighty hammer. You have enough of fame to equip it. He also said that they are no longer going to hide from me, so we're going to just have more fights, it seems. And the Sanctum as a card is where the other card would have been. So it's, I imagine, a case where we could have gone to one more level, and if we had failed the next level of cards, then the game would have just given us a game over. Or probably would have had us do a boss fight for the silver reward. But we're skipping that entire middle or 3rd level, it seems, in favor of just locating and defeating the shaman earlier. Still want to do everything here.
The longest night and a symbol of the deepest matters. You would do well to attend to the things that happen here.
Although, perhaps on the second playthrough, it would have just been wiser to not do every event and just make sure we actually win. On the longest night in winter, the townsfolk of Stiegel set up around a huge bonfire to celebrate the victory of light over darkness. The one night the Emperor turns a blind eye to the outlawed use of magic. You join a group of peasants close to the fire, take a sip, and a woman beside you offers you a goblet. You politely accept the pungent potion, take a quick swig. Warmth rushes through your body, and you fall into deep hypnotic trance as you stare into the dancing flames. You wake to find yourself in a stable, nestled among a herd of cows. On your way out, you spot a few unconscious Empire guards huddled together outside the stable. No blessing cards were found in the inventory, so apparently I needed some kind of blessing card for winter solstice to make more sense. Either that or I just got robbed, which maybe I just got robbed.
If you fall in a trap once, you may blame error. To fall in the same trap again smacks of foolishness.
Rustling behind you is the only warning you get that your life is in danger. You turn towards the north and bowler wraps around your body. So, I think we've already done this ambush once before in this run. If we actually do end up fighting a dragon at the end of this game, that's going to be kind of boring. just based on the way the animation is. The jawline of this character in the face is more cartoony than I really would have expected it to be. It's too much of a square jawline for my desire. Bestow to the people of the western fishing villages by the clans of the north in a time of peace and prosperity. Bestowed. Right. So we don't have our companion here. These guys die fairly quickly. You get too far away from these guys and you're just going to get bullied over and over again. Am I supposed to just be smashing the buttons like faster? Because there's really only so far I'm really willing to smash the buttons before I'm gonna hurt my fingers. If anything, I think that highlights how you need a companion. Like, you really need a companion. We gain 2 more fame. Let's search for spoils. And yeah. We'll gain some more food. If we get lucky. We'll assist the damsel in distress. Because why not? So, which will we reroll? We'll reroll this and this. Although, honestly, you should probably just reroll this. Odds aren't great that you'd get a 5 or a 6 or a 4 again.
I'm somewhat surprised you lost that one.
Yeah, it definitely feels like you could end up feeling like you're wasting a lot of time if you end up...
You have to stop helping people. It always ends up like this.
Yeah, same longer dialogue as before. Just got a achievement for defeating 50 thieves, I believe. Did win on the easier dice roll, gaining more fame, but I feel like I'd have to get up to like 50 fame before anything would be helpful. And I guess at any point we
offer
could
a chance to see what your companion has to say about your current challenge.
Let's see. Yeah. The only thing I could see is maybe just trying to have like a ton of food and just trying to get the numbers as high as possible. And here's another thing I want to do while we're at it. Not really liking the male appearance. Can we change the gender in this case, or can we only change the appearance? No, yeah, weird. And see, that's the thing that I think feels just so strange about the way this all goes, is that you really can't change the one thing, the gender, but you can change everything else. Well, you can't also change the skin tone, it seems like. So why have those limitations? Particularly in the world of magic, where you could potentially just drink some magical liquid and change your appearance completely. Canonically, in the storyline. Let's see what equipment would have been available here. Could have maybe tried to buy the shield, but the shield actually wouldn't work. I could have maybe bought the ruby ring, but that wouldn't have done anything either. We can't get any more food. So we now accept 9 gold for payment of the information because there are 7 cards revealed on the field, which seems to not include the cartographer card itself. The cartographer listens intensely as you relate what you can remember of the neighboring areas. Spend several hours in the company until he is satisfied that you have nothing else useful to add. Interesting. So what would I have needed to do to get the reward there? Would I have had to have run into the cartographer with even more cards on the field, a bigger level? Or is it a matter of luck? Or is there some other bit of information I would have to collect from some other card? Yeah, I'm really uncertain about that. It may just be random.
You have prepared yourself for this battle. Now you must face it, but not alone, perhaps.
So, now we go to the sanctum. It is as the Tellus Elder said. Malaclips remarks, the shaman's sanctum is protected by a magical barrier. Best you try that hammer. So, yeah. Definitely feels like there would have been a whole nother level. But we didn't need it. So I guess inherently, if we had gotten 20 fame on the first floor of this mission, first level of this mission, we would have skipped this whole section too. And maybe it's even a mission that just goes on forever until you have 20 fame, and it just constantly throws more and more ambushes at you when you use all of your other cards up. There is something about the numbers here that they don't make particularly obvious. If there are 7 cards on the field,
yet the stakes remain
and we added
the same.
10 cards at the beginning, and then the dealer added 4 cards, then that would really make it seem like there would only be 7 cards in the first floor at most. Yeah, which seems weird. Raise Hethra's ire above your head and bring it down against the magical wall with all your might. The hammer finds its mark and you immediately are engulfed in a blizzard of snow and ice. The howling wind spins you this way and that, then vanish as quickly as they had appeared. Disoriented, you look around for Malaklips, but he is nowhere to be found. You find your bearings and realize that you're standing in a forest clearing covered in newly fallen snow. You step back and bump into something. Turning, you see a towering northern clansman, bald and brutal.
He has brute strength, if nothing else.
Interesting. So we have yet another new corner marker called the Wanderer. He does not flinch nor seems to even the slightest bit interested in you. He stands with weapons drawn and brow lowered. You turn to follow his gaze. There you see her, sitting on a throne of wicker and thorns, small straw-plated charms and oddities hanging from the trees behind her. Before her kneel countless raiders worshipping their leader in eerie stillness. So we're getting a shaman of frost, and a trapper of frosts, and a three of frosts. The defender of villagers and the exiled one, the shaman says with a hiss. She steps down from her throne. I know why you have come. Let's end this. I hope you know how to fight, hero, he says, the bald northerner calmly. There are more warriors here than we can kill. To defeat a snake, you must cut off its head. You ready your weapon as the shaman and her clansmen surround you. So it looks like we're going to unlock a new companion character, which will be nice. Feels like there's room for at least 2 or 3 companion characters. And so here we have the raid leader Gerda getting actual names instead of just being called shaman. And you can see it's a female character, which the male to female ratio has been pretty pathetic. It's true in most games. I'm not sure gamers even in 2024 are ready for a 50-50 split, but like every single minion in this game has been a male presenting character, even the goblin characters. Raid leaders are the front line of the Northern Assault Centaur, centuries of tactical and religious guidance. The shaman cast spells that heal her allies. Attack her quickly to interrupt the spell.
I do not know you, yet we will fight. Stand clear of my blades, I will stand clear of yours.
Seems like she disappears. It's hard to even keep an eye out to see like where my character is. He's just not standing out visually compared to the other characters. I want to change it back to the female character with the long white hair. See, I think I won there, but if you told me I died, I wouldn't completely disbelieve you either. That's so visually a mess. And at a certain level, almost certainly, this should be like turn-based dice roll gameplay. It would be slow and it would be boring. It might be something closer to what you would see in a turn-based Japanese RPG, as far as taking turns attacking back and forth. All of those are very slow. But slowness and that kind of pace of gameplay makes a lot of sense for what you're doing with the tabletop game play. Like, I can take all the time I want in this section and nothing will happen until I hit A, with the exception of the narrator saying something. The shaman's body raised as the dark spirit leaves her chest and vanishes into the air. The remaining raiders flee into the forest. As the skies clear, the sun beams down on the colossal warrior that had fought alongside you. I am Kolbjorn, he explains. I was born in the northern clans, but I am a clansless now. You do not know us, but we were not always like this. Perhaps one day the clans will return to the tradition they have lost. We have befriended Kolbjorn, the Wanderer. Yeah, it could be Kolbjorn, but I'm just going to go with Kolbjorn. Because that would be a little easier to mispronounce consistently. You and I have cleared a small part of the stain from my honor this day. If you call, I will answer. He reaches out a massive hand and clasps your forearm. Let us head back and find your friend. And with that, you and Kolbjorn make your way back through the forest and search for Malaclips.
Another card returns to my deck. Do not worry, I have more challenges before you will be ready to face my foe.
And so that was, I guess, the Empress? Was just a shaman? That seems weird, because that's not really what I was expecting. I was expecting the Empress to be part of the Empire and a true Empress.
Well done.
So we get
another
the
northerner
silver.
falls before you, and a new companion joins your journey.
It almost feels like there should be a whole second part to this game where you play as the Northerners and play against the Empire more. But I bet that doesn't actually happen. So for defeating the shaman, we get the upbeat music first of all. And then we get an armor of gluttony, a ring of food, a pious robes, and a frontier barbud, which looks like a helmet. But we don't have helmets. Or we haven't seen a helmet so far. For defeating the Shaman of the North, we also get Fame and Shame as an event. The Watchtower as an event. Raider's Ambush as an event, which I don't see any reason why you'd ever pick that. And Bridge Skirmish as an event, which I imagine if we had gone to the last level or further levels, we would have done the Bridge Skirmish. For proving ourselves worthy, hero, we get Hethra's Ire, which is probably not a weapon we'll use as much as it might seem, because I wouldn't be surprised if it always has that 20 fame requirement. And then for befriending Kolbjorn, we get an event of Clan Eyebright, and we get the Wanderer as a companion character. Noticeably, this is a bad trick they've done here, where they've taken basically the exact same image and just added a tree to Clan Eyebright in the background and changed the fur animation a little bit between the two. Had they not shown these two cards side by side, people probably would have never noticed that you were just reusing art. But they didn't even bother to like flip it or mirror it, but even that would have been pretty noticeable. Now we're going to get the gold coin reward. For defending all of the villages, which I guess means we didn't let any village fall, although it seems like we did let the first village fall. I guess maybe we defended it even though we failed at defending it. We get the Elder's Gift, which seems like they're introducing the idea that some cards are just going to have this blue magical glow to them, and those cards are probably better. And then some other rewards. We've unlocked these encounters. Bitter Winter. Here we have the purple cuffs. I imagine that might be a Shadow DLC card we've just unlocked. The new companion Cruel Katura awaits you at the Hound. Interesting. So we got another companion from what looks like DLC. And a new challenge is available on the challenge map, the servant. We went a little bit longer today to end.
You have done well. You understand the basic rules of the game now. From here, they will change.
So I now understand the rules, and yet they're going to change them. Interesting. So, yeah, we are teased with 3 more challenges we can't do, and we've unlocked what was probably 3 more challenges we can do. On top of that, we can now do the map maker and the servant, but that feels like that's DLC. We still need to complete 5 challenges to unlock Endless Adventures, which makes me wonder if challenges don't include doing these, because it always seems to be 5 challenges. And then if I really want to change my appearance, the only way I can do it is here. Properly, at least. And it's showing us we now have 2 companions. So let's go back to what we originally started with. I want a character that stands out as much as possible, which means I want a character probably to be as bright as possible, which would mean probably not that. We'll keep it a little bit different. We'll go with Crossroads this time, as far as the tan and skin color. But yeah, it's very questionable as to why you can't change your gender or your city of origin, thus your skin color, inside a mission. That implies to me that some of the event cards would actually react based on your appearance or gender, and I just don't think that would be a smart move if that was the case. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and keep on watching. Thanks.